Hey guys, it's Amon from Our Rich Journey. And if you guys have been following our journey, you know that we bought a home on the Silver Coast of Portugal 3 years ago. And over the past 3 years, we renovated that home and made it into a beautiful, beautiful home. And recently, we sold that home and made a huge profit. We released a couple of videos on the renovation, on the sale, and a reoccurring question we received was how much we were going to have to pay in taxes. Now, based on the research that we've done, we know that if we don't do certain things, we would have to pay up to 48% in taxes on the profit from the sale of that home. And I wanted to wait until I got confirmation from my accountant before I share with you what our plans are to avoid having to pay such a huge tax. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the email exchange that I had with my accountant to share with you what I think is just an amazing, amazing thing. So I wrote to my accountant, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out to get some clarity regarding potential tax implications after having sold my house. To provide you with some specifics, purchase date, August 2020. Purchase price, €190,000. Sale date, end of July 2023. Sale price, €1. Renovation costs over 3 years, €1. Given the above, I estimate my profit from this transaction to be around €1. I have a few questions regarding this. The first question I posed was, what might be my tax liability for this profit in Portugal? Is it based on a percentage of the profit? My second question, is there a provision or mechanism by which I can avoid or reduce this tax liability if I reinvest in another primary residence within a certain time frame? And 3, I also wanted to understand the implications of my NHR, non-habitual resident status on this sale. Will my NHR status offer any concessions or benefits in terms of the amount of tax I'll be required to pay? Looking forward to your guidance. Warm regards. Now, I got to say something about my accountant. He is so responsive. I wrote him this email, I think, at 11:16, and he responded about 15 minutes later. This is this is just amazing for him to just be so responsive, and he does this with all of his clients. He's just amazing. And I'm not doing a commercial for him or anything. Actually, I'm keeping his information private, but I just wanted to share that with you. It's just his response time was amazing. So he responds, "Hello, Aman. The NHR status has no implications on this. If you reinvest all the money of the sale on another primary house in the next 36 months after the sale, then it can be exempt from capital gains." Now, I knew this based off of my own research and talking to a couple of people, different conversations. I knew that there would be an exemption if I invested that money into another home. But 36 months, I didn't realize that it was that long. Honestly, I thought it was only a year. So to get that confirmation that we can avoid paying taxes if we reinvest that money in another primary residence within 36 months, 3 years, that was great news. Now, the next part of this is if we don't reinvest that money in another primary residence here in Portugal, what we may have to pay in taxes. So he says, if you don't reinvest it, then 50% of the capital gains will be free of tax, and the other 50% will be subject to the progressive tax rates. Now, the progressive tax rate in Portugal is very steep, so I went back to him and I said, thank you for the quick response. So for example, if my capital gains was, then I would pay the progressive tax. And what is the progressive tax? And so he gets back to me very quickly and he says, yes, that is correct, and the taxes go until 48%. So after reading his email, one of the things that Christina and I were really caught up on was the amount of time that we would have to reinvest those profits to avoid paying the capital gains, that 36 months. Now, it just seemed like such a long period that we wanted to just go back to him and get confirmation on that. Make sure he didn't mean something like 3 to 6 months. So we write him back and we say, sorry, But I must clarify something you said. You mentioned we have 36 months to buy another home and not be taxed on the capital gains. So 3 years seems like a long time that goes over multiple tax filing years. So I want to make sure. And he writes back immediately and he says, that's correct. If when filing the tax return of the year when the house is sold, if you mention that you intend to reinvest in another house, the capital gains taxation gets frozen until the maximum of 36 months. This is just great news. So I write him back, I say, thank you for the clarification. And so now we're in a position where we have this large amount of money that we are going to reinvest into another primary residence, likely here in Lisbon. And it's just a huge relief to know that we have 36 months to be able to find a house. 36 months gives us a lot of time, and our lives are going to be changing significantly over the next 36 months. I mean, Sanoa and Malia, they're going off to college within that time frame. So Christine and I will be empty nesters. So this gives us a lot of options when it comes to finding our next potential home over the next 36 months. Such a great tax situation. And so I just wanted to get on here really quickly and share this with you because a lot of you guys have been asking about the profits, the taxes. You know, people really get caught up in taxes in Portugal. Or if you're thinking about coming here and living, that's one of the questions. That's one of the main questions you have. So I hope this video has been helpful to you when you are doing your planning. And as usual, if you've liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.